What if the way you've been spending your private moments is silently undermining your performance down the road? I'm Dr. Kyroat, a urologist with over 30 years of experience, and I've seen so many men-strong, capable men carry the quiet burden of erectile struggles or early ejaculation without ever suspecting that small, everyday habits might be at the root. I'm speaking not just as a medical expert, but as someone who understands how this can impact your self-esteem, your relationships, and your overall sense of well-being. Today, I want to share the 3 most common mistakes men make when it comes to masturbation patterns that may be silently hurting your sexual health. More importantly, I'll explain how to undo the damage and regain control. Stay with me through the end, because the final habit we'll cover is the one that many of my patients say truly changed their lives. And before we dive in, I invite you to comment, "I want to change," if you're ready to take that first step, or 0 if you have questions or need support. Every comment matters, and I personally read them to offer guidance and encouragement. Let's begin with the first major mistake: rushing the experience. A lot of men, especially those in their 60s and beyond, treat masturbation like a task to complete quickly, a release to get over with. It might feel practical or even natural, but here's the problem. By consistently hurrying to climax, you're training your nervous system to expect speed, and that can lead to premature ejaculation. Over time, it becomes difficult to slow things down when you're with a partner. In my decades of practice, and backed by research in neuroplasticity, I've seen how this hurried pattern becomes a mental and physical loop. The fear of finishing too fast leads to anxiety, and that anxiety in turn affects arousal and erections. What began as a harmless habit turns into frustration in real intimacy, even when your intentions are to be more present and last longer. Neuroscience has shown that repeated behaviors reshape the brain's responses. When you condition yourself to reach climax quickly, your body becomes primed for speed rather than connection. But the good news? You can rewire those responses starting now. Instead of treating it like a race, slow things down. Create time and space where you can focus entirely on sensation, not outcome. Learn to enjoy the rise of arousal without needing to finish. Explore what your body responds to. Get close to the edge, then ease off. Breathe deeply, adjust your pace, and take the pressure off the finish line. This is how you build real control, lasting power, and deeper connection with your own body. Start with just 10 minutes, once a week, where you intentionally avoid rushing. Notice how your body reacts differently. If what you're hearing today resonates with you, if you feel hopeful or inspired, leave a comment saying 1 to let me know you're following along. And if you're still unsure how to begin, write 0, and I'll respond with guidance to help you take that next step forward. The second mistake is even more widespread, and it could be holding back your sexual health without you even realizing it. You might think of pornography as a harmless boost for arousal, a way to make solo time more exciting, or to ease feelings of loneliness. It's always available, always intense. For many men, especially those in their 60s and beyond, porn feels like a quick fix when desire fades. But here's the truth. This is one of the most damaging habits you can develop for your sexual performance. Think of pornography like junk food for your sexual brain. It's overstimulating, addictive, and ultimately unsatisfying. After 3 decades as a urologist, I can tell you that consistent exposure to porn trains your brain to crave artificial stimulation. It sets unrealistic expectations and conditions your arousal to rely on high-intensity novelty, something real-life intimacy simply can't deliver. That's how pornography-induced erectile dysfunction, PED, begins. Your partner starts to feel less arousing, and suddenly, staying hard or even getting started becomes a struggle. Neuroplasticity studies have shown us that the brain reshapes itself around whatever we feed it, and excessive porn consumption rewires your arousal pathways, demanding more extreme content just to feel the same response. This isn't about morality or Shemites, about your brain adapting to patterns. But the great news is, you can reshape those patterns. The first step? Unplug. Try giving your mind a break from screens and practice masturbation without porn. Use your imagination, yes, it still works. Revisit a vivid memory, craft a new mental scenario, or simply tune into the sensations of your body. At first, it might feel unfamiliar or even dull, but your brain will begin to reawaken. If you need a transition tool, consider sensual audio or romantic fiction to stimulate your mind without the overwhelming visual flood. Start small, maybe one session a week, and pay attention as your natural arousal slowly returns. If you're feeling hopeful or encouraged by this approach, leave a 1 in the comments so I know you're with me. And if you're unsure how to start or just want to talk about it, comment 0. I'll be here to support you. Now that you understand how porn can reshape your arousal, let's talk about the third mistake that most men don't even think twice about. It's the habit of always doing things the exact same way. Same hand, same grip, same angle, same pressure. It may seem like a matter of preference or routine, but this repetition creates another major block to your sexual responsiveness. This pattern is often called the death grip, a term that describes the intense, specific stimulation some men rely on to climax. Whether it's a tight hand or grinding against a surface, these methods can provide more intensity than any real-life sexual experience. And the result? Your body stops responding to more natural, softer sensations during partnered intimacy. What I've seen in both my clinic and research is that this kind of overstimulation builds a trap. You get used to one kind of pleasure, and everything else starts to fall flat. But you can break free from that trap with variety and intention. Over time, this kind of overstimulation can desensitize the penis, making it harder to stay aroused or maintain an erection during actual sex, and that often leads to erectile dysfunction. Neuroscience shows us that our bodies adapt to repetition. When your solo routine never changes, your arousal system gets locked into a narrow pathway, and that's where your sexual health can start to stagnate. The good news? This is something you can absolutely shift with a few practical adjustments. To reset your sensitivity, try switching up your approach. Use your non-dominant hand, apply lighter pressure, experiment with different angles or positions. Adding lubricant or even a condom can help simulate sensations that more closely resemble real intimacy. These small variations retrain your nervous system to respond to a wider range of stimulation, which improves stamina, sensitivity, and control over ejaculation. Just start with one experimental session each week. Give yourself permission to explore and pay attention to how your body begins to respond differently over time. If this is resonating with you and you feel like you're turning a corner in your sexual well-being, leave a 1 in the comments. If you're feeling stuck or need more guidance, type 0, and I'll personally help you get clarity. What we've covered today isn't just about 3 habits: rushing, porn, and repetitive technique. It's about a deeper transformation in how you relate to your sexuality. It's about choosing confidence over fear, curiosity over shame. You now understand that rushing leads to a quick trigger, that porn can numb your brain to natural pleasure, and that the death grip conditions you to crave intensity over connection. But the most important takeaway? You have the ability to change it. With neuroplasticity on your side and the willingness to embrace new ways of engaging with your body, you can redefine how you experience sex and how you experience yourself. So ask yourself honestly, are you ready to become the man who owns his stamina, who enters intimacy without anxiety, but with strength and presence? These practices, learning to slow down, using imagination instead of screens, switching up your toucher, more than just strategies. They're your declaration that you deserve vibrant, fulfilling intimacy. And if this message lit a spark in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you care about, a friend, a brother, a father, someone who might be struggling silently and needs to hear this truth. It's never too late to reclaim your power. If you're ready to take that first step, comment, "I'm ready." If you still have questions, drop a 0, and I'll be here to help you through it. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay connected with more insights on thriving in your later years, because you still matter. Your story isn't finished, it's just getting started. Until next time.